Everybody, welcome. Those are like investigators. So guys, it's January 1st. It's 10:30 local time, which is 2 hours later than Eastern time. So today is January 1st. I just wanted to let you know that I have made a video about yesterday, which is the New Year's Eve in Rio.
Mas segura o Henrique, que eu falo pra você? Depois se perde, não sabe por quê. Agora, pronto. Aqui, daqui. Ah, sim, eu tenho que ver que dá. Olha, que coisa mais maravilhosa.
Honestly, it's been probably 2 weeks since I have actually asked any questions about any of the stuff we normally cover. And but this is the time. All right, so let's ask for protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only the good, and so it is. And by the way, guys, I will not be using cards for the moment. because of all these complicated technical issues. But it's actually interesting because I'm testing this new camera that I got just for vlogging. So I guess it's good to not necessarily need the Zoom application in order to make a video. What actually will happen too is that I will not be able to provide you with a summary because that's what Zoom does, and I'm not using Zoom, but we'll have captions. So, okay, so let's get started. Now, the first question I have here is what happened in 2025 and what will happen in 2026? Because, of course, it was a crazy year. It was not a great year, of course, for politics and everything that we have experienced collectively. I am grateful for 2025 on a personal level. I'm grateful for all of you for supporting my channel and for just living through this year, right? But it was very intense energetically and otherwise. So here we are. All right. Okay. So 1 second. By the way, I'm drinking this like zero soda made out of guarana. It's this little, it's sort of like cocoa or coffee or something. It's this, it's just a soda. It reminds me of a ginger ale a little bit, but it's not. But that's what I'm drinking because I have to keep drinking. Otherwise, I will cough. Okay. So let's see here what happened in 2025 and also what happened in 2025 because we had a lot of hopes. I had a lot of hopes and I had seen things that didn't quite necessarily materialize. So what happened there? Okay. Guys, can I tell you something really interesting actually that I'm making this video and it's literally a tiny camera. I can barely see the screen, but there's something kind of liberating about not having this huge computer screen in front of me because I'm seeing like more spatially the images that I'm getting. And it's showing me this like the galaxy, and it's saying that the visions were true, but the events may need some time to transpire, and that we're living through this moment when all the lies they have created, we have to kind of unfortunately live through it and learn to discern and to exercise discernment and judgment through all of this. Okay. And why is it that all the things we saw related to the election and the data and so forth, it's not just intuitive, but factual? Why has it been covered up? I mean, we know why, but I want to know why, because of social media, Elon Musk, and all the powers of all these people. But what can we gather from this? Why can't we break through? Why haven't we been able to break through thus far? It's saying their full on illusion has to play out. And it shows me this image of somebody tapping on as if it were made out of glass, but very, very fragile glass, and it breaks. Eventually, the illusion will break. And it's broken already, but does it make sense in terms of the pursuit of a false reality is so complete to the point where it will be complete enough that it will have to collapse. So, all right. So this is what happened. And it's interesting. It shows me also dealing with the energetic levels, ups and downs. And it's saying that this cuff thing that I have is also a form of that, like this energetic up and down thing. So, okay. So we're kind of dealing with the ups and downs. Although it keeps showing me to remain steadfast in what you see, because that is the truth. And don't pay too much attention to the world that you're creating, even though this is what the channel is about in a lot of ways, right? Is looking at the news through an intuitive perspective. But, right, there's a price to pay, right? Which is where we get intertwined with these energies. Wow. All right. So let's go to the next question. So, what will 2026 be like? It's weird. So I see this image of me walking on a over this floor made up of almost like metal tiles, and then beneath the tiles are these monsters that I'm trying to step on to prevent them from coming out, but they can't come out. And then they keep pushing, pushing to the point where they do come out, and it is scary because they look horrible. But at the same time, once they come out, we get to see that they not are not as powerful as they appear to be. Okay, so back and forth between the computer and the camera. This is a camera that I recorded just now with, but there's all kinds of limitations for both. And anyway, so I'm back. So let's go to the other topic. Okay, the next one. So and that was I was just giving you the answer related to the 2026. And it was, of course, a very abstract answer. I saw this like monster like figure coming out, and it will where it will show itself, and it's not going to be as scary, or it will come out and it will melt away once the light shines upon us. Okay, so that's very abstract. But let's ask I ask here, what do we need to know about 2026? Okay, so what do we need to know about 2026? Again, weird like images. One is of this storm, and I see this huge storm coming, and it drenches us. But then this giant sun is going to come afterwards. So, okay, I understand, but obviously, this is not a very encouraging image. It's a little scary. It looks like was walking through mud. What does that really mean about the current administration and everything we're facing? We're walking through the mud. Of course, that these are the things they have created, and they will pour everything out and it will turn into mud, but they will it's as if they will run out of effects, and downfall is coming. It's saying it does suggest again that it's not it's sometimes it's frustrating for me because I tell you guys kind of just what ended up being similar things, right? Which is that he throws everything to the wall, right? Everything in the isn't what is that expression? Everything in the kitchen sink. And eventually he's stopped by the military and such. But it's also somehow, as weird as it sounds, uh, it's clear they have to do all of it, as disgusting as it is for us as the observers, because of how awful it is, how awful these things are that they're doing. Okay, but um, it doesn't work in the end. So what do they do? It's saying in some ways to not. It's not that we can't fight it. It is what it is. It is disgusting as it is. But there will come an end. The end will come, and it's something we have not experienced before. Okay, so what do we need to know? How do we prepare for this? By the way, guys, thank you for your patience because this is, I think, the first video. There's like a video, right? And so far, I've had an issue with the internet dropping because it's happened already, and I had to move to the camera. And also, I had the, the cupping. And tomorrow, I'm gonna go get a dehumidifier because I need to, I need to figure this out. I'm gonna go to a doctor here, see. But things are moving. I think it's very helpful for me to keep making videos so that I like go back to work, really. You know what I mean? And also that it's like it's very energizing for me to do this. So, all right, all right. So the question is, how do we prepare for 2026? Any any recommendations? And it's funny as I'm asking this, guys, I get this vision from spirit being like, Rosie, we want you to make videos, okay? It's gonna make you feel better. It's gonna help you, through this uh situation. And like I said, it's like I'm doing really well. It's just that I have this like cuff that is dry. Okay. Anyway, so so it's interesting. It shows me that image of somebody of a child praying, like almost like a meme. Like, but it's saying stick to the visions. This is the time when people who are light workers and others need to trust your gut. And as much as we all communicate through the we communicate through and because of the news, right? We have to keep in front of our minds the visions because their goal is not so much, it's not just, and I guess that's a better way of putting it, it's not just creating the distraction through everything they do, but it's also to occupy, right? To occupy our minds and to make us afraid. It's like this is their, it's it's weird, is like we're seeing evil really like is remember those sci-fi movies? That's what they dreamt of, the Trump administration #2, and people are like Peter Thiel and such. So that's in a way this is the same advice as before, right? So, okay, all right. So, I think what to expect we have already looked at. Now, let's look at the characters for 2026. Okay, so first is Trump. So I guess what to expect and what's going to happen to them in 2026. Okay, so what about Donald J. Trump? What's happening? So again, it's weird. The imagery is so consistent, right? It's the it's like Trump is he's standing on the ground, but then it's like there's a hole of about a foot and half. That's like some of his leg, like the leg is already there. He's sinking and he starts to melt, like to become transparent and like to become red, maybe the color of the devil or orange or whatever, right? Isn't that weird when I think about it? Actually, the devil card, so orange, and there he is, orange. Strange, but he starts to melt and get red and orange like a monster. And he knows what's interesting is that he's like starts to sink and he starts to transform into a real life monster. Physically speaking, he's already a monster, but physically he looks like a monster. And as that happens, it feels like he puts his hands and the hands become claws. Starts to dig for the lowest of the low in order to attack population, right? So he's capable of anything. And I see that it shows me also like this monstrous figure almost talking back to me saying, I am the darkest in every sense. It's not just what he's done to girls. It's what he has done to the country in terms of treason, right? He pretends to be somebody he's not. He works for Raf, and and not us, right? And ultimately, that's what the big deal here is that putting aside the fact that he wants to harm citizens, the fact is he does not work to further the interests of the US. And that in itself is the lowest of the low on a personal level. Like there's also the SEX stuff, right? So he is truly a devil creature. So anyway, so as he's sinking, he is digging for the lowest, the lowest. And then I see eventually, again, I still see that the military gets involved and stops him. Like I think he's going to do something so bad for the country that there will be people who are in the position to stop him or will finally stop him. And I don't think it's just a few random heroes like it was with the H man during the Second World War. It it is a group of people embedded in the government. So it doesn't make sense. Like I think you could look at everything that he's done monetarily to harm a lot of states as you can look at that and see it as like he's deliberately trying to harm us, but more and more comes out in what he is and what he does, and we are. I just see that shock. People are seeing him for who he is and nothing, and this is what's interesting is that at the end he really does he does collapse, right? He does collapse, and we see the truth. It's not everything is. It shows we see everything, and we can't look away, and that is how it's meant to end. Okay, so very interesting. Very interesting. So, guys, you know what? Uh, I have a list here of people to look at, but I am going to stick to Trump for today and do it like a part one and part two. Okay, so part one, this we're going to continue here with Trump because there's a lot, of course, going on. So, okay, so now, now let's ask here. So, what are the chances that he will leave? It's saying it's either him or the country goes. So he is going to have to go because really the goal is to destroy us completely. And there was a poll, I don't know if you've seen it, that I think it was I do think it was MSNBC, but it said that Zelensky is very popular in the US and Trump has negative popularity, but Putin has like really, really low. Like people really hate him the most. So I don't see there's not going to be like a situation where we're going to be siding, even though we are technically already siding with it off. When it comes to doing what's like the ultimate thing, I don't think it will fly. So okay, so that's this part, and that is the thing that will end him, even though it has been dragging. All right, okay. So and I see the issues with healthcare and other issues like that are affecting everyday people in really horrible ways, right? The harm has created already. And it's funny, I saw a clip of what's his name? The guy who was Bush's strategist. He is he said recently that Trump went too far. We're losing a lot of elections because of this. And and I think again, the harm he has done to the public, so the harm can't be minimized, right? And it has affected so many people, and they have seen the reality of what he does to people and to the world. So it's saying it's going to be a year of cold hard truths. Okay, so so let's look at the Trump administration. Okay, so So let's look at the administration as a whole in 2026, okay? Okay, so I'm back. So what's happening to the entire administration? And I want to see it as a 3x4 log of wood or something, like something right so that it will move. So what is happening? They're beating us with that stick of wood. And I see the machete cuts it and it just collapses into pieces. And all the people, it's funny, I'm seeing that guy Kobe. Actually, you know what? Colby, Colby. Let me write him down because I need to look into him. So, so once this log of wood is chopped into pieces, all the people that work for it are like clinging onto these tiny pieces of wood to survive, and they all sink. They don't survive. And then he shows me JD Vance as like, oh yeah, it's my turn now. But he then sinks with it. He thinks he's above it, but he's not. He's not gonna take over. So okay. So this for now. And I will come back tomorrow to follow through with the others. And thank you for your patience, guys, because like I said, I am dealing with this weird allergic cupping situation. So all right. All right. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.